Stoicism is more than just an ancient philosophy. It's a roadmap to living a fulfilled and successful life. But here's the catch. Even the most well-intentioned Stoic can stumble into hidden traps that undermine their progress. Imagine striving to live by Stoic principles only to find out that your efforts are actually setting you back. How can something so fundamentally wise lead to pitfalls that sabotage your success? Today, we're going to explore the 12 Stoic pitfalls that could be quietly derailing your journey towards success. These are the subtle missteps that even the most dedicated practitioners might not see coming. Whether it's misinterpreting detachment as emotional coldness or using Stoic acceptance as an excuse for inaction, these traps can hold you back in ways you never expected. But don't worry, by the end of this video, you'll be equipped with the knowledge to avoid these common mistakes and stay on the path to true Stoic success. If you're passionate about mastering Stoic principles and applying them to your life, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. This way, you'll never miss a moment of our journey together in uncovering the secrets to a life of virtue, wisdom, and peace. So, are you ready to discover the hidden pitfalls that could be sabotaging your success? Let's dive in and see how you can turn these challenges into stepping stones on your path to mastery. 1. Misinterpreting Stoic detachment. Let's start with a classic pitfall that's easy to fall into: misinterpreting Stoic detachment. Picture this. You're in a heated argument with a close friend, and you decide to apply Stoic principles by detaching from your emotions. You distance yourself, thinking that this is the wise and Stoic thing to do. But instead of resolving the conflict, you notice your friend growing more distant, perhaps even hurt by your perceived indifference. What went wrong? The Stoics valued emotional resilience, not emotional coldness. Detachment in its true Stoic sense isn't about shutting off your feelings or becoming a Stoic statue devoid of emotion. It's about mastering your emotions so they don't control you. The danger lies in taking detachment too far, leading to a lack of empathy and connection with others. Imagine being so focused on not letting anything disturb your peace that you inadvertently push away those who care about you. This can turn you into someone who is perceived as unfeeling or aloof, rather than the calm and composed individual you aspire to be. This misinterpretation of detachment can sabotage your relationships, both personal and professional. After all, humans are social beings, and even the Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius, understood the importance of nurturing relationships. The key is to find a balance, stay connected to your emotions, but don't let them dictate your actions. Instead of reacting impulsively in that argument with your friend, you could acknowledge your feelings, reflect on them, and then respond in a way that is both compassionate and composed. So the next time you find yourself tempted to detach completely, remember that true Stoic wisdom lies in staying connected with your emotions and the people around you. Think about how this concept of balanced detachment might apply in your own life. Have you ever found yourself pushing others away in the name of maintaining your calm? How did it affect your relationships? Reflect on these questions as we move forward, because the next pitfall we'll explore is equally subtle and just as critical to your success. Stay with me as we uncover how overemphasizing rationality can actually disrupt your emotional balance and relationships. You won't want to miss this one. It's a common mistake that even seasoned Stoics struggle with. 2. Overemphasis on rationality. Imagine this. You're at work, faced with a dilemma that requires a tough decision. You decide to rely solely on logic, weighing the pros and cons with cold precision, After all, Stoicism teaches us the value of rational thinking, right? But as you execute your decision, you notice something unsettling. Your team seems distant, and morale takes a hit. You've made the most logical choice, yet something feels off. What went wrong? While Stoicism indeed places a high value on rationality, an overemphasis on logic can sometimes lead to a different kind of imbalance, one where emotions and relationships are sidelined. The danger here is in becoming so focused on being rational that you forget the human element, which is crucial in almost every aspect of life. In our hypothetical scenario, by prioritizing logic over empathy, you may have overlooked how your decision would impact the feelings and motivations of your team. The Stoics, especially thinkers like Seneca, understood that being rational doesn't mean ignoring emotions. Instead, it's about integrating emotional intelligence with rational thought to make well-rounded decisions. Consider this. When faced with a tough choice, what if you took a moment to consider not only the logical outcomes, but also how those outcomes would affect the people involved? By doing so, you acknowledge that emotions, while sometimes irrational, are an integral part of the human experience and can provide valuable insights. Think about your own life. Have you ever made a decision purely based on logic, only to find that it had unintended emotional consequences? How might things have been different if you had factored in the emotional responses of those around you? Reflect on these questions as we continue our journey. As we move to the next section, we'll delve into another subtle yet crucial pitfall: neglecting the importance of relationships in the pursuit of Stoic self-sufficiency. This is a common trap that can lead to isolation and loneliness, even among the most disciplined Stoics. Don't miss it. It's a lesson in finding the balance between independence and connection. 3. Neglecting the importance of relationships. Consider this scenario. You've been diligently practicing Stoicism, focusing on self-improvement, emotional resilience, and inner peace. You pride yourself on being self-sufficient, relying on no one but yourself to navigate life's challenges. But one day, you realize that despite all your progress, something is missing. The connections that once brought warmth and meaning to your life seem to have faded, and you find yourself feeling unexpectedly lonely. How could a philosophy so rooted in wisdom lead to such isolation? This is the paradox many dedicated Stoics face. The philosophy teaches the value of self-sufficiency, of not depending on external factors for your happiness. But here's the pitfall. Taken to the extreme, this focus on independence can lead you to neglect the very relationships that enrich your life. The Stoics never intended for their teachings to isolate you from others. In fact, Marcus Aurelius often wrote about the importance of being part of a community, of contributing to the common good, and of nurturing the relationships that keep us grounded in our humanity. Think about it. What is success if you have no one to share it with? No one to celebrate your victories or support you during setbacks? True Stoicism isn't about cutting yourself off from the world. It's about engaging with it wisely, with an understanding of your own boundaries and needs. Relationships, whether with family, friends, or colleagues, are not just sources of joy and support. They are opportunities to practice the virtues of patience, kindness, and understanding that Stoicism values. Reflect on your own life for a moment. Have you ever found yourself withdrawing from others in an effort to maintain your Stoic calm? What impact did that have on your relationships? Did you find that, over time, this isolation actually undermined your sense of peace and fulfillment? These are important questions to consider as we move forward. In the next section, we'll explore another common misstep: using Stoicism as a justification for inaction. This is a particularly tricky pitfall because it can masquerade as wisdom, when in fact it's just another form of avoidance. Stay tuned. This one might hit closer to home than you expect. 4. Using Stoicism to justify inaction. Let's set the scene. You're facing a tough situation. Maybe it's a conflict at work, a personal challenge, or even a global issue that feels overwhelming. You tell yourself that the Stoic thing to do is to accept what you cannot change, to remain calm and detached. You choose not to act, convincing yourself that this is wisdom. But as time passes, the situation worsens and you're left wondering, did I make the right choice, or did I just avoid taking responsibility? This is a common misstep in the practice of Stoicism, using the philosophy as a shield against action. The Stoics certainly teach us to accept what we cannot change, but they also emphasize the importance of acting on the things we can change. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most famous Stoics, was a Roman emperor, a man of action who faced immense challenges head-on. His meditations on accepting fate were never meant to encourage passivity. Rather, they were about maintaining composure while taking decisive action. Consider this. What if instead of using Stoicism as a reason to stay inactive, you saw it as a call to courage, a call to face your challenges with a clear mind and a steady heart? The real danger here is mistaking acceptance for resignation. Stoicism is about understanding the limits of your control, yes, but it's also about taking full responsibility for the things within your control. Think back to a time when you might have avoided a difficult decision or postponed taking action under the guise of accepting the situation. How did that choice play out in the long run? Did it really bring you peace? Or did it leave you with a nagging sense of unfinished business? These are the moments where Stoic wisdom can be misunderstood and misapplied, leading to regret rather than resolution. As we continue, we'll uncover another subtle pitfall that can derail your Stoic practice: confusing Stoic indifference with apathy. This is a fine line that, when crossed, can make you appear detached, not just from your emotions, but from life itself. Stick around, because understanding this distinction is key to applying Stoicism in a way that enriches your life rather than diminishes it. 5. Confusing Stoic indifference with apathy. Imagine this. You're at a family gathering, and a heated debate breaks out over a sensitive topic. You decide to stay quiet, thinking it's the Stoic thing to do. You tell yourself that you're practicing indifference, that the outcome of this argument doesn't affect your inner peace. But as the discussion intensifies, you notice that your silence is being misinterpreted. Some see it as a lack of care, others as aloofness. You begin to wonder, have I mistaken indifference for apathy? This is a subtle yet significant pitfall in Stoic practice. Stoic indifference, or apatheia, is often misunderstood as emotional detachment or a lack of concern. However, true Stoic indifference is about maintaining a steady mind amidst external events, not disconnecting from them entirely. The danger lies in crossing the line from being indifferent to life's disturbances to becoming apathetic, disengaged from the world and the people in it. The Stoics believed in the importance of living a virtuous life, which involves active participation in the world around you. Marcus Aurelius, for example, wrote extensively about fulfilling one's duties as a human being, duties that often require engagement, compassion, and sometimes even confrontation. Indifference, in the Stoic sense, means not allowing external events to disturb your inner tranquility, but it doesn't mean ignoring those events altogether. Consider this. What if, instead of remaining silent during that family debate, you chose to listen actively and contribute thoughtfully? You could maintain your inner calm while still showing that you care about the people involved and the topic being discussed. By doing so, you're practicing true Stoic indifference, remaining emotionally balanced without retreating into apathy. Reflect on your own experiences. Have there been moments where you mistook Stoic indifference for apathy? How did that affect your relationships or your sense of purpose? These are important distinctions to understand as you apply Stoic principles in your life. As we move forward, we'll tackle another common misinterpretation: ignoring physical health in the pursuit of Stoic virtues. This pitfall can quietly undermine your well-being, making it crucial to address. Stay with me, because understanding the balance between mind and body is key to truly living a Stoic life. 6. Ignoring physical health. Let's travel back in time to ancient Rome, where the Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "The body is the ship, the mind is the captain. Which one should be taken care of more?" While the Stoics placed immense value on the mind and its ability to reason, they never intended for physical health to be neglected. Yet in modern times, it's all too easy to fall into the trap of prioritizing mental and moral virtues while overlooking the body that houses them. Have you ever found yourself skipping meals, losing sleep, or foregoing exercise in the name of productivity or mental clarity? If so, you might be unknowingly walking this path. The Stoics believed in mens sana, in corpore sano, a healthy mind in a healthy body. They understood that the body is not just a vessel for the mind, but an integral part of the human experience. Without a sound body, the mind's capacity to think clearly and act virtuously diminishes. Imagine trying to practice patience, wisdom, or courage while battling the fatigue of a neglected body. It's a losing battle, one that even the wisest Stoic would struggle to win. Think about how you feel after a good night's sleep, a healthy meal, or a refreshing walk in nature. Your mind is sharper, your mood is elevated, and your ability to deal with life's challenges is enhanced. Now, contrast that with how you feel after pulling an all-nighter, skipping meals, or spending days on end without any physical activity. The difference is stark, isn't it? In our fast-paced, achievement-oriented world, it's easy to prioritize work, study, or even mental practices over physical well-being. But this is where Stoicism's holistic approach comes into play. The Stoics knew that true wisdom involves caring for the body as well as the mind. They practiced moderation in all things, including diet, exercise, and rest, understanding that a neglected body can lead to a weakened mind. Take a moment to reflect on your own habits. Are you giving your body the care it needs to support your Stoic practices? How often do you sacrifice physical well-being in pursuit of mental or moral goals? These are critical questions to ask yourself as you strive for a balanced life. As we move forward, we'll explore another common mistake: underestimating the power of emotions. This is a trap that many fall into, thinking that Stoicism requires the suppression of feelings. But in reality, emotions have a crucial role in the Stoic journey. Stay with me, because understanding this balance can transform your approach to both Stoicism and life. 7. Underestimating the power of emotions. Imagine this scenario. You've just finished reading the works of Seneca, and you're feeling inspired to live a life of rationality and calm. You tell yourself that emotions are the enemy, that a true Stoic doesn't let feelings interfere with reason. The next time you face a challenge, perhaps a harsh criticism at work or a personal setback, you try to push those uncomfortable emotions down, telling yourself they're unimportant. But despite your efforts, those emotions bubble up, leaving you frustrated and confused. What went wrong? This is a common misunderstanding of Stoicism. While the Stoics emphasized the importance of reason and self-control, they never advocated for the suppression of emotions. In fact, they recognized that emotions are a natural part of the human experience. The real goal of Stoicism isn't to eliminate emotions, but to understand and manage them effectively. Marcus Aurelius himself wrote about the importance of acknowledging emotions and using them as a guide to better understand oneself and the world. Think about anger, for instance. Anger is a powerful emotion, and it's easy to see it as something purely negative. But what if, instead of trying to suppress your anger, you explored what it's trying to tell you? Perhaps it's highlighting an injustice that needs to be addressed, or a boundary that's been crossed. The key is not to let anger control you, but to use it as a signal, a prompt to reflect on what's really going on and how best to respond. The Stoics teach us that emotions are not inherently good or bad. It's how we handle them that matters. By acknowledging your emotions and examining their roots, you can gain valuable insights and make more thoughtful decisions. This approach allows you to remain calm and composed without becoming detached or indifferent. It's about finding balance, allowing yourself to feel, but not letting those feelings dictate your actions. Now, take a moment to consider your own relationship with emotions. Do you find yourself trying to push them away in an attempt to stay rational? How might your life change if you started viewing emotions as allies rather than adversaries? As we move forward, we'll delve into another often overlooked aspect of Stoic practice: the value of humor. It might surprise you, but even the Stoics recognize the importance of lightness and laughter. This next section will show you how incorporating humor can enhance your Stoic journey, so stay tuned. 8. Overlooking the value of humor. Let's take a step back and imagine life in ancient Rome. Picture a Stoic philosopher, perhaps someone like Epictetus, known for his deep wisdom and stern teachings. Now, imagine this philosopher cracking a joke with his students, lightening the mood during a heavy discussion about fate or ethics. It might seem out of place at first. Stoicism and humor, after all, don't seem like natural companions. But here's the twist. Even the Stoics understood the power of humor. Have you ever thought about why a good laugh can feel like a breath of fresh air, even in the midst of serious challenges? Humor is often seen as the antithesis of Stoicism's seriousness, but that's a misunderstanding of both humor and Stoicism. The Stoics weren't opposed to joy or laughter. They valued it as part of the human experience. Seneca, in his letters, often used wit and irony to make his points more relatable and memorable. Humor, when used wisely, can diffuse tension, offer new perspectives, and remind us not to take ourselves too seriously. After all, life is unpredictable, and while we can't control everything, we can choose to laugh at its absurdities. Think about a time when you were faced with a stressful situation, a tight deadline at work, an unexpected setback, or a difficult conversation. How did a moment of lightness, perhaps a shared joke or a humorous observation, change the atmosphere? Humor can act as a release valve, easing the pressure and allowing us to approach problems with a clearer mind. It's a tool that, when used thoughtfully, aligns perfectly with Stoic principles of maintaining inner calm and perspective. Reflect on this. How often do you incorporate humor into your daily life, especially during tough times? Could you find more opportunities to laugh at life's challenges rather than letting them weigh you down? Humor doesn't diminish the seriousness of a situation. Instead, it adds a layer of resilience, helping you navigate difficulties with grace. As we move on, we'll explore another common pitfall in Stoic practice, the pursuit of perfectionism. This one is tricky because it's often disguised as a virtue, but it can lead to more harm than good if left unchecked. Stay with me, because understanding this nuance is key to achieving true Stoic balance. 9. Focusing on perfectionism. Picture this. You've just read the works of Marcus Aurelius, and you're inspired to live each day with virtue, wisdom, and self-control. You set high standards for yourself, determined to embody the Stoic ideals in every aspect of your life. But as days turn into weeks, you find yourself feeling more stressed than serene, constantly worried that you're not living up to the Stoic image you've created in your mind. You begin to question your progress, wondering if you're failing because you're not perfect. Does this sound familiar? This is the trap of perfectionism, a sneaky pitfall that can undermine even the most earnest Stoic practitioner. The Stoics taught us to strive for excellence, but there's a fine line between striving for improvement and becoming trapped by the pursuit of an unattainable ideal. Perfectionism can lead to unnecessary stress, self-doubt, and even burnout, all of which are counterproductive to the peace and resilience that Stoicism aims to cultivate. Marcus Aurelius himself acknowledged his own imperfections and the constant effort required to live a virtuous life. He understood that perfection is not the goal, progress is. Stoicism isn't about achieving a flawless state of being. It's about the journey of continuous self-improvement, where mistakes and setbacks are not failures, but opportunities for growth. The pursuit of perfection can lead to rigidity, making it harder to adapt to life's challenges, which is the very opposite of what Stoicism encourages. Think about your own life. Have you ever set such high standards for yourself that you felt paralyzed by the fear of not meeting them? How did that affect your motivation, your well-being, or your relationships? The Stoics would remind us that it's okay to fall short, as long as we learn and keep moving forward. As you reflect on this, remember that true Stoic practice is about balance. It's about being kind to yourself, acknowledging your efforts, and recognizing that growth is a process. The next time you catch yourself striving for perfection, pause and ask yourself, am I chasing an ideal that's hindering my progress? How can I embrace my imperfections as part of my journey? In our next section, we'll delve into another critical aspect of Stoic practice, understanding the role of fate and how misinterpreting it can lead to passivity. This concept is at the heart of Stoic philosophy, and getting it right is essential to truly living the Stoic way. Don't miss it. It's a game changer. 10. Misapplying the concept of fate. Let's take a moment to reflect on the Stoic concept of fate. Imagine a Roman general standing on the battlefield, knowing that no matter how well he plans, there's always an element of uncertainty, whether it's the weather, the morale of his troops, or the unexpected movements of the enemy. He understands that he can control only so much, and the rest is up to fate. But what if this general, instead of preparing diligently, simply resigned himself to whatever happens, thinking, it's all fated, so why bother? What do you think would happen next? This is the danger of misapplying the Stoic concept of fate, confusing acceptance of what happens with passivity or inaction. The Stoics indeed taught us to accept the things we cannot change, but they also emphasized the importance of taking action within the realm of what we can control. Marcus Aurelius, who often wrote about fate in his meditations, didn't use it as an excuse to sit back and do nothing. Instead, he saw it as a guiding principle that allowed him to focus on what mattered most: his own actions and decisions. The Stoic understanding of fate is not about surrendering to every event as inevitable, but about recognizing the limits of our control and acting with wisdom within those boundaries. Imagine being at the helm of a ship during a storm. You can't control the storm, but you can steer the ship. The Stoics would argue that your responsibility is to steer as best as you can, with the understanding that you won't always have control over the outcome. Think about how this applies to your own life. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you felt overwhelmed, perhaps thinking, "What's the point? It's out of my hands anyway"? How did that mindset affect your actions or inactions? The key takeaway here is that Stoic acceptance of fate is not about giving up. It's about focusing your energy on what you can influence and letting go of the anxiety over what you cannot. As you contemplate this, remember that the Stoic approach to fate is one of balance. It's about being active participants in our lives, making decisions and taking actions while remaining serenely indifferent to the outcomes we cannot change. The next time you face a challenge, ask yourself, am I doing everything within my control, or am I using fate as an excuse to avoid responsibility? In our next section, we'll explore another crucial aspect of Stoic practice: why it's important not to isolate Stoicism from other philosophies. This insight might surprise you, especially if you've been focused solely on Stoic teachings. Stick around, because understanding this will broaden your perspective and deepen your practice. 11. Isolating Stoicism from other philosophies. Let's take a moment to imagine the great city of Alexandria in ancient Egypt, a hub of knowledge and culture where scholars from different traditions came together to exchange ideas. Imagine being there, in the bustling marketplace of thoughts, where Stoics, Epicureans, Platonists, and others debated and learned from each other. Now, what if the Stoics had chosen to isolate themselves, refusing to engage with other philosophies? What if they had rejected the insights from these diverse perspectives? Would Stoicism have developed into the rich and practical philosophy we know today? This scenario illustrates a common pitfall in the practice of Stoicism: isolating it from other schools of thought. While Stoicism offers profound wisdom on how to live a virtuous and resilient life, it's not the only philosophy with valuable insights. The Stoics themselves, including figures like Seneca and Marcus Aurelius, were not dogmatic. They were open to learning from other traditions, recognizing that wisdom is not exclusive to one philosophy. Think about it this way: Stoicism is like a powerful tool in your life's toolkit, but it's not the only tool you'll need. By integrating insights from other philosophies, whether it's the mindfulness of Buddhism, the ethical focus of Confucianism, or the pursuit of happiness in Epicureanism, you can build a more comprehensive approach to life. These different perspectives can complement and enhance your Stoic practice, making it more adaptable to the complex and varied challenges you face. Consider a situation where you've been deeply entrenched in Stoic teachings, perhaps using them to navigate a tough period in your life. But as you encounter new challenges, maybe issues related to relationships, personal fulfillment, or ethical dilemmas, you might find that Stoic principles alone don't fully address your needs. What if, instead of sticking rigidly to Stoicism, you allowed yourself to explore how other philosophies might offer additional guidance? This doesn't mean abandoning Stoicism. Rather, it's about enriching your practice with broader perspectives. Reflect on your own philosophical journey. Have you ever found yourself focusing so much on Stoicism that you dismissed other viewpoints? How might your life change if you became more open to different philosophical ideas? The beauty of philosophy lies in its diversity, and by embracing this diversity, you can develop a more nuanced and effective approach to life. As we move forward, we'll explore our final section, the importance of continuous learning. This is a fundamental aspect of not just Stoicism, but any philosophy or practice. Stay with me, because this last insight is crucial to ensuring that your Stoic journey remains dynamic and ever-evolving. 12. Forgetting the importance of continuous learning. Let's rewind to ancient Greece, where Socrates famously declared, "The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing." This statement, coming from one of the greatest philosophers of all time, might seem paradoxical. But Socrates wasn't trying to diminish the value of knowledge. Rather, he was emphasizing the endless journey of learning. Now, imagine if the Stoics had thought they had all the answers, if they had stopped seeking new insights and refining their understanding. Would Stoicism have survived the test of time, continuing to inspire millions across centuries? This brings us to our final pitfall, forgetting the importance of continuous learning. In the fast-paced world we live in, it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking we've arrived, that we've learned all we need to know. But the truth is, the moment we stop learning, we stop growing. Stoicism, like any philosophy, isn't static. It evolves as we evolve. The Stoics themselves were lifelong learners. Marcus Aurelius, despite being an emperor, constantly reflected on his own thoughts and actions, never considering his education complete. Continuous learning isn't just about reading more books or attending more lectures. It's about staying curious, open-minded, and willing to question your own beliefs. It's about recognizing that every experience, every conversation, every challenge is an opportunity to learn something new. Think about it. How often do you challenge your own assumptions? When was the last time you deliberately sought out a perspective different from your own, not just to confirm your beliefs, but to expand your understanding? Consider a time in your life when you felt like you had mastered something, a skill, a subject, maybe even a philosophy like Stoicism. How did that feeling of mastery affect your behavior? Did it make you more open to new ideas, or did it create a sense of complacency? The Stoics would remind us that true wisdom lies in the humility to keep learning, to keep questioning, and to keep growing, no matter how much we think we know. As you reflect on your Stoic journey, ask yourself, am I truly living as a lifelong learner? How can I integrate new insights, not just from Stoicism, but from a variety of sources, into my daily life? The path to wisdom is not a straight line, but a continuous evolving journey, and the more we embrace this, the richer our lives become. As we conclude this exploration of the 12 Stoic pitfalls, remember that these challenges are not obstacles to be feared, but opportunities to deepen your understanding and practice of Stoicism. Stay curious, stay open, and most importantly, stay committed to the journey. As we wrap up this exploration of the 12 Stoic pitfalls, let's return to a question that the Stoics themselves might have asked. What does it truly mean to live a Stoic life? Is it about following a strict set of rules? Or is it about embracing a philosophy that helps us navigate the complexities of existence with grace, wisdom, and resilience? The answer, as we've seen, is not in rigid adherence, but in understanding, reflection, and continuous growth. Think about the challenges we've discussed: misinterpreting detachment, overemphasizing rationality, neglecting relationships, and so on. Each of these pitfalls is a reminder that Stoicism, like life, is not about achieving perfection, but about learning, adapting, and evolving. The Stoics were not flawless beings. They were human, just like us, striving to live better lives amidst the struggles and uncertainties of their world. And that's exactly what makes Stoicism so powerful. It's a philosophy grounded in the reality of human experience. Now, as you continue your own Stoic journey, remember that each day offers a new opportunity to apply these lessons. Don't be afraid to stumble or make mistakes. These are the very moments that will deepen your understanding and strengthen your practice. Stay curious, stay open, and above all, stay committed to the path of continuous learning and self-improvement. If you found value in today's exploration, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel and join our community of like-minded individuals dedicated to living a more meaningful life. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss an opportunity to grow together. And of course, I'd love to hear your thoughts. What Stoic insights have resonated most with you? How do you plan to apply these lessons in your daily life? Share your reflections in the comments below. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the Stoic pitfalls that could sabotage your success. Remember, the Stoic path is not about where you end up, but about the wisdom you gain along the way. Until next time, keep striving, keep reflecting, and keep growing.